Do you notice that in intimate situations with your partner, you get triggered by smell, by words, by position, by the situation around you, and you cannot let go and really get the pleasure you want? Maybe you have intimacy triggers or intimacy issues. Let's get to the point and find out, where is it coming from? Hello, my lovely people. Welcome back to my channel. And today's topic is something that not always is, talked about in the society. And maybe you've had a lot of information already if you have that problem. But I want to cover some of them from the point of your subconscious mind. Why our intimacy triggers are in our subconscious mind, and why it's so hard for us to overcome them. And sometimes we are struggling for years. We're stuck in those triggers for years, unable to build and nurture relationship. And why we cannot talk about it, because it's one of the most sensitive topics in the society. There are two taboo topics in the world that people are cautious to talk about: death and sex. And even when you go to the therapist, right? Even if you find yourself, you go into the therapist and you're like, I don't know if I should talk about that. I don't know if I can. Maybe you still didn't build a rapport with your therapist. Maybe you are too shy to talk about that because maybe you feel like you're isolated in that problem and only you have that. And it will be very weird, and maybe the therapist will think about something. I always recommend, by the way, if you have, because I work in hypnotherapy sessions, I'm a hypnotherapist, I always work with people who close their eyes and go into the slight relaxed meditative state where they can not look at me. They don't see me. They don't notice my reactions. So they strip off that logic, that critical thinking. And when I talk to them, they are able to open up about their intimacy triggers or problems in the sexual relationship. But if you're talking to the therapist, I always recommend close your eyes. If you want to tell something that is very, very personal, but you feel like you need to really release that and talk about it to someone, close your eyes. I always praise, and I'm amazed that some therapists are actually using some type of hypnosis in the therapy sessions as well, so that the client can access their subconscious mind, and that way they can work through their problems much faster. You don't want to spend 10 years of your life working on your intimacy triggers, or do you? Right? So when we think about therapy sessions, we think it's years of therapy. It doesn't have to be like that, because you don't want to spend those years being triggered. Even if it's a little bit easier, it's still triggered. It's still uncomfortable. And you live your life, you want to experience the joy, you want to feel pleasure, you want to be able to connect to someone on the intimate level, right? So please, I recommend you close your eyes or work with a hypnotherapist, someone who can uncover the root cause of your intimate triggers. Why do we get triggered? Why do we get triggered when we are in the intimate relationship? We are ready to build that amazing connection with our partner, and we feel triggered. Though logically, you understand that person, you feel safe with that person. And for some couples, they actually can resolve that. They can communicate between each other and build that trust, and they can uncover those triggers, right? And that's amazing. But it also takes a lot of effort, a lot of commitment, a lot of patience. Not everyone has that. And if they do, great. And if you do, amazing. But if you don't, and if you are not even in a relationship, but you want to, and you're afraid because you have these triggers, then this video is for you. Why we get triggered as in the intimate situation is because our subconscious mind is for feeling. And when you are in the intimate relationship, you don't want to use your logic. You want to use your feelings to really embrace the whole energy of connection. It's not, so your mind, intimate relationship is for feeling, not for thinking. Your logic will tell you, I'm done. I want to be out of here. I want you to use your feelings and really enjoy and get the pleasure that you want. But sometimes we don't want to let go of our logic. We want to control, right? Because we are afraid to let go, right? And even orgasm is letting go as well. So sometimes people have problems with that as well, with like receiving the ultimate, amazing, absolute pleasure. So why we get triggers? Because our subconscious mind is very activated in the intimate relationship. It is very activated, so it really brings up to the surface everything that you tried to shut down and suppress for many years. Maybe even you shut it down when you were 5 or when you were 8, and now it's coming up. Right? So that's why these triggers are the most tricky ones, because first, there is not a lot of people you can talk about them. There is not a lot of people who can help you with that. You need to really, really be able to face the past and to, work on your past triggers in order to, in the present here, enjoy the intimacy. When something emotional happens in our life, physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, our mind, and I already say that in almost all of my videos, right? Your mind becomes a camera that takes the picture of everything around you, and it registers it and it stores it in your mind. And because your subconscious mind doesn't understand time, doesn't know time, it gives you those triggers, those moments that it registered, the color of the wall, the face of the person who abused, the smell of the person, the position, the touch, right? Some people get triggered by a specific touch, like, some partners, when they start to communicate and they're ready to go into the intimate relationship, they start to sometimes communicate their triggers. Like, I don't want you to touch me here and here and here and here. Only here is allowed, right? Because we get triggered, right? We get triggered, and all the desire, goes out of the window when we get triggered, right? You don't want anything. When you get triggered, you go into the fight or flight. Who wants to have sex when you're in the fight or flight mode? No, right? So that's why we get triggered. So we don't want to get triggered. We want to relax and enjoy. Thoughts as well, right? So when we were abused or something happened in the past, we can get triggered only by the thought. The thought about the intimate relationship can trigger the fight or flight mode, the anxiety, the worry, the fear, right? And where the worry is, there is no pleasure. Worry and pleasure, fear and pleasure, they just don't coexist. They don't know. Only when you relax, this is when the pleasure can enter your body and your mind and your life. So as well, what can trigger you? Past flashbacks. So childhood trauma, flashbacks from the past. Sometimes logically, like, I love this person. I want to be with this person. And I'm ready, and you you condition your mind that, okay, this can happen, this will happen. And you go into the intimate relationship and, just the thought, right? The flashbacks, the similar situation, they start to trigger you. And then you're like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. So you push it away, right? You push intimate relationship away. And this is very unfortunate, really, that that there is not a lot of support in this for this matter. And I know that there are even psychologists and therapists that are actually specializing, right, in intimate issues. And I worked with many people with intimate issues, and it all goes to the mind that triggers and goes back to those moments and brings the triggers from the past. Words. Words can trigger you as well. So sometimes when you are in an intimate relationship, for example, you're starting to making out with a boyfriend or with a girlfriend, right? And they say one word, one phrase, and you feel the cold shower washing over you. Have you ever felt that? The cold shower washing over you. You not only not want to do anything with that person, you actually want to push that person away. Right? That happened with me as well. I got triggered by the word good girl, right? Good girl. And I couldn't realize why. And then I uncovered the past, right? And I was able to reframe it, right? But I always told my husband, never call me good girl, ever. Not even in an intimate relationship, but ever, right? So that word triggered me. It brought unconsciously, but like I could feel the cold, the freezing shower washing over my body, the energy, right? And I didn't want anything. I was frustrated, angry, and done, done for the night. Touch. So touch can trigger as well. If you were touched without your permission or abused in a certain way, right? That way is going to be in your mind and trigger you because your mind wants to protect you all the time. What is the best way? Processing the trauma is inevitable if you want to overcome intimate triggers. At some point, you will need to face whatever happened and to look at that. You will never be able to forget that, but to look at that moment that triggered those issues that you're having right now and to be able to look at it differently, to take the wisdom out of it in terms of like the power, the resource from it, that I became stronger. I'm a survivor. I survived, that I can survive anything. If I survived sexual abuse, I can survive anything, right? The biggest adversity holds the biggest potential for healing, right? So no, sometimes people feel like I had horrible things happening to me, but these people, because they survived, they are capable of incredible things. I always tell that to my client. The biggest adversity holds the biggest potential for your growth and for your healing and for whatever value you want to bring into this world. People who were abused, like look at Oprah, right? Winfrey. She was abused as well, right? And she wrote it. She really, really uncovered it and put it out into the world. And look at her. Look how strong that woman is. Like, it's fascinating. It's, what other triggers you can have? Smell. Sometimes the special cologne, like the perfume, right? If the person who abused you had a special perfume, like a certain perfume, your mind, because your mind in a traumatic experience, it registers by smell, touch, right? Skin, ears, eyes, all of the triggers. So it can do that as well. And the perfume can trigger you as well. So if the perfume triggers you, think about what does that remind you of. Environment, sometimes a certain room, a bed, couch, right? A color of the couch, or maybe there is a TV show that is on this while you're making out, or like, being intimate with someone, and there is a TV show. It can trigger you as well because your mind gets very activated. Your subconscious mind flourishes when you're in an intimate relationship. Don't forget about that. And it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like that so you can get the ultimate connection. And you can only connect with your subconscious mind, with your emotional brain, right? And it's supposed to be like that. It's just, if you resolve all of those triggers from the past, then you will be able to feel free to feel liberated, and to actually receive pleasure. Our body is for pleasure, right? And it's like giving and receiving, right? And giving and receiving and giving and receiving. There is a balance. So in order to have this perfect, right, balance, and nothing is perfect, but to have the balance between giving and receiving, right, you need to say, to finalize whatever is unresolved from the past, right? Sounds as well, as I said, right? The TV show, or maybe a sound, a music, a certain song can trigger you. A certain situation, right? A certain party can trigger you. So write down your triggers and work with them. Work with them. I recommend hypnotherapy all the time because, and of course, a good therapist who can really work and explain to you the power of your mind, the rules of your mind, how your mind works, the principles, so that every time you get triggered, you know exactly what it is and why. And then you can start working on that. But if you're unconscious, if you don't know where it's coming from, it will keep talking to you because your body always wants to tell you something that is unresolved. So resolve all your issues. I'm happy to see you in my consultations if you feel like I can help you, and the RTT hypnotherapy can help you in your healing journey. Wish you all the best. Be healthy emotionally and physically.